Friends, it is time to read the scriptures together. We continue this morning in our reading of First Kings. We are starting chapter 11 this morning. Good morning, Don and Linda. Chapter 11. So we are at a transition point in the book. A significant transition. Oh, good morning, Mom. So here's the big picture. Chapter 11. Oh, you see it? Here it is. This is the last chapter of the first portion of First Kings. The first portion being the reign of Solomon. And chapters 9, 10, and 11 are Solomon's downfall. So we're going to jump right into the heart of that today, that downfall, because we're in chapter 11, which is filled with reminders of Deuteronomy 17, reminders of the law, things that are the cause for the downfall. Not only of Solomon, by the way. So let's read. Pull our timer up here. Get it over in this corner. I'll be reading from the left-hand column from the Complete Jewish Bible. The right-hand column, you see the text is found in the New Revised Standard Version, Updated Edition. The left-hand column is a Jewish Bible. The right-hand column is a Christian Bible. The most helpful thing that this right-hand column will serve for us is to translate Jewish biblical language into Christian biblical language, because not everything is called the same thing. Like Solomon in the Jewish Bible is Shlomo. I'll point those out as we come upon them. So let's read, friends. Good morning, Audrey. The downfall of King Solomon. King Shlomo, Solomon, loved many foreign wives, besides the daughter of Pharaoh. There were women from the Moavi, the Moabites, Ammoni, the Ammonites, Edomi, the Edomites, Sidoni, Sidonians, and Hitti, the Hittites. Nations about which Adonai, God, had said to the people of Israel, "You are not to go among them, or they among you, because they will turn your hearts away toward their gods." But Shlomo was deeply attached to them by his love. He had 700 wives, all princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned his heart away. For when Shlomo became old, his wives turned his heart away toward other gods, so that he was not wholeheartedly with Adonai his God, as David his father had been. For Shlomo followed Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Thus Shlomo did what was evil in Adonai's view and did not fully follow Adonai as David his father had done. Remember, David set the bar low. Hello, Bathsheba. Remember that. And yet, even that was too high. Verse 7. Shlomo built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of the Moabite, the Moabites, on the hill country in front of Jerusalem. That's Jerusalem. And another for Moloch, the abomination of the people of Ammon, the Ammonites. This is what he did for all his foreign wives, who then offered and sacrificed to their gods. So Adonai grew angry with Shlomo because his heart had turned away from Adonai, the God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice and given him orders concerning this matter that he should not follow other gods. But he didn't obey Adonai's orders. So Adonai said to Shlomo, since this is what has been in your mind, and you haven't kept my covenant and my regulations which I ordered you to obey, I will tear the kingdom from you and give it to your servants. However, for David your father's sake, I won't do it while you are alive, but I will tear it away from your son. Even then, I won't tear away all the kingdom. I will give one tribe to your son for the sake of David my servant, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen. Then Adonai raised up an adversary against Shlomo, Hadad, the Edomite, of the royal line of Edom. Back when David had been in Edom and Joab, the commander of the army, had gone up to bury the dead, having killed every male in Edom. For Joab and all Israel had stayed there 6 months, until he had eliminated every male in Edom. Hadad had fled, he and a number of Edomite servants of his father's with him, and gone into Egypt. At the time Hadad had been Hadad had been but a small boy. On their way, they passed through Midian. Yep, just as it sounds. On their way, they passed through Midian and arrived in Paran, took with them men from Paran, and went on into Egypt to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He gave Hadad a house, saw to it that he had food, and gave him land. Hadad became a great favorite of Pharaoh, so that he gave him his own wife's sister in marriage, that is, the sister of Tachpenes, the queen, Taphanes. Taphanes. Verse 20. The sister of Tachpenes bore him Genuba, his son, and Tachpenes brought him up in Pharaoh's own house, so that Genubat was in Pharaoh's house along with Pharaoh's sons. When Hadad in Egypt heard that David slept with his ancestors and Joab, the commander of the army, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, "Let me leave so that I can return to my own country." Pharaoh asked him, "But what have you lacked with me that makes you want just now to go to your own country?" "Nothing in particular," he replied, "but let me leave anyway." God raised up another adversary against Shlomo, Rezin, the son of Eliada, who had fled from his lord Hadadezer, king of Zobah, when David killed the men from Zobah. Rezin rallied men to himself and became the leader of a band of marauders. They went to Damascus, that's what I thought, and settled there. Well, he became king of Damascus. He remained an adversary as long as Shlomo lived, causing difficulties in addition to those of Hadad. He detested Israel and ruled Aram. Next time, friends, that we pick up First Kings, we'll pick up right there at verse 26. Good morning, Carol. Things are going downhill, and Solomon is getting more and more adversaries. And there is the assurance that the kingdom will be slipping away. Thank you for reading with us.